I'm just now on the way back from work, and I was just thinking about a lot of stuff. I have like an hour and a half drive from work to where I usually stay at, so it gives me quite a bit of time to think. And I don't know, I just wanted to get this down while it's fresh on my mind, because I know I'm going to be busy when I get back. But I was kind of I've been feeling pretty emotionally drained, and I've been struggling a bit for the last couple weeks. And yesterday I was just kind of in I wouldn't say a bad mood, but I was just thinking a lot, and I was working on music and practicing piano, and a lot of times it kind of it just makes me think. And I was realizing that I have all this, I know I've had it, but I was just really coming to terms with this internal tension that I've had for the last few weeks. And it's been really weighing me down. And as much as I've tried to alleviate it, and, you know, even like feel like I'm doing everything I can to try and address it and whatever, it hasn't worked. And the last few weeks have just been like, I couldn't figure it out. And I have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of things on my mind. I have a lot of problems that I am working on solving right now. And so it doesn't really feel like I have time to sit and just work through things emotionally, if that makes sense. And it's good to be busy, but I've just been so... The biggest thing is I just have a mental weight over me from... There's just a lot. There's a lot of things I'm carrying right now. There's a lot of pressure on me from multiple sources. And so it's tough to deal with something else when I'm working on all the things that feel very present and in the moment. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but yeah, it's just when you have so many things going on in the current moment, it can be tough to slow down and address things that might be underlying in your mental state. So all that to say, I was thinking a lot yesterday, and I started to come to the realization that I think a lot of the tension and the struggle that I'm dealing with emotionally is because I haven't fully let go. And I've tried consciously to let go over the last few months, and I have worked on it, but I think I was telling myself that I was more over things than I actually was, because I didn't want it to get in the way of me working on the things that I feel I need to work on right now, with making money, starting an entirely new career, essentially, starting a business, not having a home, a permanent home. There's a lot of things that I've been kind of that I've been made to address. So yeah, I think I didn't actually make as much progress as I had told myself that I did. And so that's been catching up with me. But I realized that a lot of the source of my pain, it feels like, is coming from me not really accepting that the person that I knew and that I loved doesn't exist anymore. And it's, you know, obviously the person is still there, but there will never be a future situation where we are together again. And so fundamentally, the people that we were when we were together no longer exist in either of us. And so I feel like you kind of have to accept that as a death. You kind of have to tell yourself mentally that that person died and they're not coming back, because ultimately they aren't. And the fact that I was still just kind of thinking about her, like, you know, having thoughts like what, and not like obsessively or anything, but just in the back of my mind that never really went away, kind of like, I wonder what she's doing right now. I wonder where she is in life and her job and her friendships and her relationships. And, you know, it's somebody that I was with for 4 years. So my mind has been so intertwined with her being around that it hasn't fully unlearned some of those patterns. But I think whenever I come to the mindset that that person is dead, like they literally don't exist anymore. There's a different person with some different motivations now. Their goals might have changed. They desire different things, different people. And so the version of them that you knew doesn't exist anymore. And the trying to hold on and not kind of fully accepting that they're basically dead, it kind of just leaves like a ghost in your life. It leaves a memory of them that used to be something, you know, it's a real memory in your head, but there's not a version of that person that exists in your world anymore. And even if they do a lot of the same things and are very similar to the person you did know, you're not gonna see them like that. You're probably not gonna see them at all. So, as far as your world is concerned, they're in a completely different world. And the one that was in your world is pretty much dead now. And thinking like that yesterday and coming to that realization made me feel a lot of relief. because there's no point in actively thinking about somebody every day who is dead. You have to grieve them, and especially if they meant something to you, that's going to be a difficult process. But after that, the grieving has to stop. At least the active grieving does. You might kind of have a sadness when you think about them, but you have to start letting that grief go, because it will only ever hold you back. Now that person's in the ground now, and constantly thinking about them all the time and wishing they were here and they'll never be here again, that is just pulling you down into the ground with them. But that was just something that was on my mind and something I wanted to express. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily like over everything. It's not consuming my life, but you know, it might be something that comes in my head every now and then. But I think accepting that that person that I knew is dead and will never exist again. There's never going to be a version of them that I experienced in my life that was like that. That kind of has allowed me to let go of a lot of things I didn't realize I was holding on to. But yeah, just trying to get better every day. That's pretty much all you can do. And even if you don't succeed, just the mindset every morning when you wake up of just trying to get better. It doesn't matter how much better. It could be 1% better. It could be 0.5% better. Literally, no matter how much it is, as long as you're doing that every day. And even when you feel like you're not succeeding, you keep trying. You keep holding that intention. That is going to get you pretty far. So that's all I'm trying to do, and that's all I really can do. But there's definitely a lot of pretty big changes coming up in my life pretty soon. Some pretty significant changes. So there's a lot I have to get ready for. There's a lot of work I have to do, but I know I can do it. I've overcome really difficult things in my life, and I know I can do that. And I already know it's not going to be easy, but that's the nature of life. And especially if you want to live a fulfilling life, there's going to be a lot of struggle that comes with it. So the least you can do is be grateful for that struggle and know that if you endure it, you'll absolutely be better because of that. Yeah, that's all I had.